Hello everyone and welcome to Crafts with the Taylor Library. I'm Miss Jen and today we have a craft for you to go along with our stories. Today we're making polar bears. Now this is probably one of the more intricate pieces that we've done, but I promise that with a little bit of patience and perhaps the help of your grown-up, you'll be able to achieve something that's really, really cute. So let's talk about the supplies that we need. The first thing you'll need is a glue stick. So you'll have your glue stick in your bag full of supplies and a pair of scissors. And you'll need your crayons. And then you have a bag within your bag of other supplies. It has shamrocks and little metal things in there and also some Google eyes. We're gonna take 2 Google eyes out of here, the biggest ones you can find. They should all be roughly the same size, but take the bigger ones if you have smaller ones with it. And then lastly, in your folder, just like this, there are a couple of templates that we'll need. So first thing we'll need is the piece of newspaper. Then you will need the white strip of paper. It's about a half sheet of paper like this. You'll need the white paper with the circles on it, like this one. And you'll need the blue paper, like this. So that is everything that we're going to use in there. And this blue sheet is going to be the background. So everything we're gonna do is gonna be built onto this piece of paper. These are our template. So we'll start with this and we're gonna cut out these shapes as carefully as we can. So again, if you need help with a grown-up, please ask. No cut fingers. And we're just gonna cut along the lines to get our shapes. Now I have my shapes cut, and we'll throw away the extra. And these pieces we're going to use as our template on the newspaper. So now you can leave these as white if you choose, that's perfectly fine. But to make sure everything stands out a little bit, we have newspaper, and that's what we're actually going to be designing our polar bear out of. We'll trace these onto the paper, the newspaper, and then cut out those shapes. And those will be for the polar bear, and these will just be extra pieces. So again, if you like these white pieces, you can pause right here and then come back when we're ready to glue everything down. Or if you want it to look more like the natural different shades of polar bear fur, you can use these to trace onto the newspaper and build your polar bear out of this. So I'll show you what I mean. First thing I'm gonna do is take one of my shapes and line it up with the edge of my newspaper. I'm gonna take one of my crayons and trace around the shape. So hold it tight and then trace it. see that. So I took the shape, I held it in place, and then took my crayon and traced around it. So now if I lift that up, you can see where I traced. But I'm gonna do that with all of my pieces before I start cutting. I'll make it easier to handle. One little circle here. One little circle here. And then one big circle on the other side. Just make sure that they don't overlap. You have enough room. You each have a full sheet of newspaper, so there should be plenty of space for you to trace these shapes. You might want to spread it out wide before you do your cutting and your tracing. Just like that. So now I'm going to put these aside, all done with those, and I'm going to cut out my shapes on the newspaper. And this is the part where you may need an adult for help. Because tracing and cutting can be difficult. Just be patient and cut along the lines. Now I have one more shape to cut. All right, now I'll put my newspaper away and I have all my pieces cut out. So, before we glue all of these down, first thing we're gonna do is look at this white piece of paper. Now this is gonna be our background snow and snowflakes. So, we're gonna take the paper and we're gonna rip a jagged line like this down it. Now this will make it look like snow. See, it's got the hills of the snow. So put it towards the bottom of it. You can double them up and make it look like there's little mountains in the background. And now we're gonna glue that to the bottom of the page like this. And this is our snowy background. These polar bears live all the way up in Antarctica. I'm gonna take my glue, and I'm gonna put a good amount of glue towards the bottom of my page. I'm going to take the first sheet and add a little bit more glue to the back of it, right around the edges to make sure that it all gets stuck down nice and tight. Now I'm going to line that up with the bottom and then stick it to it, just like that. And then I'm going to take my second piece that I have left over and I'm going to put some glue on the back of it. All over, turn it around, and then stick it to the bottom. So now it looks like a little hillscape with snowy mounds. Then I'm going to take these pieces, and this half circle one is going to be the base of our snow, our polar bear. So that's gonna be its chest area. So I'm gonna flip it over and put some glue on the back, mostly around the edges and then a little bit in the middle so that it sticks down nice and tight. Turn it over, and then line that up also with the bottom of our page, just like that. All right, so now we've got the bottom shoulders of our polar bear. Now we need to give it a head. So take the big circle and put a whole bunch of glue on its back. Start with going around the edge, and then a few pieces in the middle. Line it up so that they're overlapping ever so slightly at the bottom, like this. If you need to, add a little bit more glue on the edge, and then stick it down. So now you've got the body and the head. And then the last piece of the polar bear are its ears, and that's what these two round circles are. So take one of the little circles, put a whole lot of glue in the middle, and then stick it up where the ears go. There you go. Do the same thing on the other side, just like that. And now it's starting to look like a bear. So then we need to give our bear some features. And the features are eyes, nose, mouth. We'll start with our eyes. We have Google eyes here. They should all be self-sticking, which means that they have a little piece of plastic like this, you can hear that, on the back. And if I peel this plastic off, it'll stick directly to my paper. If yours doesn't have this piece of plastic on the back of it, you're just gonna add a little bit of glue to make sure that it sticks. So I'm gonna start by putting the eyes where eyes belong, right in the middle of the face, just like this. There we go. And then I'm gonna take my black crayon. You can use any color that you like, but I'm gonna give him a nose and a mouth. Now, a polar bear's nose is a triangle. So I'm gonna draw an upside down triangle right in the middle of the face, just like this. And then I'm gonna round off the edges a little bit so that it's less boxy, and I'm gonna color that all in so that it looks like a nose. And then I'm gonna give it a smile. So from the center of the nose, we do little half circles like this on both sides. And then I'm gonna give it a little bit of detail in the ears. So inside of our ears, it looks dark, so I'm gonna draw a little circle on half of the ear towards the body so that it looks like real ears. Do the same thing over here. And now that is it. So if you want, you can take white pieces of paper and glue around the edges to make it look like snowflakes, or you could take your crayons and draw little snowflakes, or you could just leave him as is. I think he's really, really cute. I'll turn him so that you can see. And there is our little polar bear. Now, as you could see, I used the newspaper so that you could tell the difference between the snow and the polar bear, but if you really don't like the look of the newspaper, you can use your templates that we cut out and just glue those on. So, I hope that you guys all enjoyed this craft. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.